So yesterday the dryers arrived. We got them set in place today. It's one that's normally part of the distributor's installation. We just went ahead and did it ourselves. Just takes a little bit of thinking, read the instructions. But the biggest thing is to really take care and make sure you're square and straight and you don't end up kind of on a little bit of an angle. If you get on a bit of an angle, then by the time you get to the end, you're going to be way off. So, you know, went over this first couple quite a few times. Got them straight, got them squared. Actually, at one point we decided we weren't quite, we had more room at the back than we thought. So we pushed them back and ended up moving this wall. So now we got a gap here we're going to fill in. But that's the nice thing about kind of, you know, making a few adjustments as you go. It bought us about another 9 inches of space in the customer area that we just really didn't need in the back. So that's we're just framing up top there now. But back to the dryers. These come bolted to a skid, and then we brought them in. We got a pallet jack, picked one of those up at Harbor Freight for about 250 bucks. They're about $80 a day to rent one. So I just bought it. You know, by the time we moved the bases around and moved the washers around a couple times, it'd be well worth it. And you know, it came in handy today. If I had rented it yesterday for when the truck arrived, they had one on the truck, but part of the problem was they would have had to put the skid onto the tailgate of the truck, and then put the pump cart on the tailgate, lower it down, take the pump cart off, lift up the skid. Whereas this way, we had this one on the bottom, and we were just able to, they put the skid onto the tailgate, lowered it down, we pulled it off, moved it in while they were getting the next one on the truck. So they came in really quick. We got them laid around, and it allowed us to move it around today. So if we had a rented one, we would have had it yesterday, and all of today, it would have been $160 plus tax, you know, to rent it. And we bought it for $100 more. So something to keep in mind. I mean, when I'm all done, I can sell it for $100 to the pawn shop, or the pawn shop 2 doors down, and still be farther ahead. So we got them in. So you got to take the front and back covers off to get the bolts out of the bottom that are attached to the skid, and you just take the lint tray off and then take the front piece out, and then back in here. I actually found my light, so I won't have some big dark videos anymore. So down in here, you can see right in that corner, there's a bolt, lag bolt goes into the skid, and we just got these bottom covers off. We pulled them off, put them out of the way, and we'll get them back on here pretty soon. We don't need them on right away, but we took them off. You know, this way the plumber can just really have a good look at the gas fittings. He could do it all from outside, but you know, we'll put them back on probably tomorrow, just so they're where they should be and not going to get bent up and lost and stuff. So 2 lag bolts at the back, 2 at the front. You get them out, and once you get it on the ground, what we did is we pried it up with a couple of pry bars, and we used a piece of 2-inch electrical conduit underneath it on the skid to just help us slide it off the skid. Got it down on the ground, and then you drop down these leveler screws right here. A little bright. These leveler screws, you push them down, and what that does is allow it easier to slide around on the ground because you're not trying to catch the edges of the cabinet. It slid really good on the surface. Where we did have a problem was these concrete ones, because they're not as smooth. This polished terrazzo, you can push them all over the store with that. It worked really well. But when we pushed them back, it gave us a little bit of a headache there. But we got them all in. And like I said, when we started with the first one here, you know, you make sure you're level. It says in the book to actually tilt them back just a hair. Doesn't really give it an amount, just a little bit. So the idea is that if the door is sitting open, it'll close. So, you know, we tilted them just a little bit, and it's something you can adjust easy enough, because all you'd really be doing is adjusting the 2 back levelers to just tilt it straight forward and back. Kind of like NASCAR where they, you know, put a round wedge in the back tire. You can do that back here. But we got those all straight in there. Had the laser set up so we could measure on the front from each corner to just make sure we're square that way. We measured, we go back down this end, I'll just show you sort of where it was and how it worked out. So we had our laser sitting here. Initially it was on top of the ones, and we had to move them. So we had it sitting here, which gave us the cross piece and the up and down. So the up and down, we could measure the distance in on each side of the dryer, and the up and down we could measure from, my finger right here, from that corner to the line, and from that corner to the line, so we knew that we were level on each of those. So that worked out really good. And then we, you know, it's sheet metals, putting a level on here, sometimes you get a little spot that's been bumped and it's just not quite how it should be. But that worked out really good, measuring it from the corners. Back in here you can see we do have the different sizes. So those are the 45 pounds here, these are 30 pounds. So we've got 3 of the 30-pound stacks, 4 of the 45-pound stacks, and 3 more of the 30-pound stacks. Works out to be a good mix for this store. Looks pretty clean at the front, looks really nice. The connections, what we got up there, those are the connections for the 45-pound dryers. They go down into, there's a hole. They go down into there and connect onto that, and then they're going to go up and go out through this wall. The HVAC guy was here eyeing that up today, and it'll be a pretty easy process for them. So the smaller ones, there's one single 8-inch. The big ones, there's a single 10-inch exhaust when you get out of it. So these pieces come with it. They just put them inside just so there's nothing above the top when they're shipping, and then pull the back cover off if we need to, and get the screws into that piece there. So what we'll do tomorrow is we'll take the top covers off, put the bottom covers on, have this all ready for the ductwork guys to come in. The electrical, it goes in up at the corner here. There's 120 feet for the top, 120 feet for the bottom. They're all on their own separate circuits. So along the back wall here, we're going to have a whole row of plugs, and each plug's going to be on a separate circuit, so that'll let the wires stay up out of the way. Gas piping, it goes from there, and then straight up. So we'll run our gas line just above here and drop our pipe straight down, and then straight into here. So we actually don't even need any flex in it this way. We could put it in if we wanted to, but we don't need to. It's piped in just right. So we got a bunch of flex, and we put all that out in the back storage room, so we don't need it. So that's it. When we're all done, we're actually, going to have this much space. We're going to lose about 4 or 5 inches for the gas lines, but we're still going to have, the widest aisle I've got in any of my stores. We're still going to have a good 30 inches through here. So we measured the electrician to make sure he'd fit. We're all good. It lines up pretty much with what we'd originally planned with this box here. So, this cabin will get moved out of the way, and that will be the access coming back in through there. It's still, like I said, it's big. We could probably still push it back, another 8 or 10 inches, but that'll be good in the future in case we ever got in there and work on anything. And this side here, we get in here, we started piping in the water heaters. I'm actually just about to go out and buy an LED work light because it's got so dark back in here. It's supposed to be a little cloudy tomorrow. They won't be able to see anything. So getting this all piped in, and we still do have the space that we can put in additional dryers here. This would be really tight to get through. You would be able to get through here behind some dryers, but it would be pretty tight. So again, we're still gonna have that way, so we can get in here either way. So if these dryers just tighten it up too much, then that'll be the main access there. Again, looking at